Hey, welcome to Mind Your Own Biz, the podcast where we help small business owners with big dreams build something authentically you. I'm Alicia Yervis, educator, marketer, designer, nacho enthusiast, and your big sister in business. I'm excited for us to have this cozy spot to chat. Each episode, we'll tackle candid conversations, actionable tips, and a few fun tangents to help you run your business your way. Because business is always personal, no matter what anyone says. So grab your iced coffee or those nachos and let's get started. Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Mind Your Own Biz. My name's Alicia Yervis. I am your host. Thank you so much for being here. I have a really fun one for you today. I'm really excited for today's guest. She is a local she's local to me. She's a local business owner here in my area in Ocean, New Jersey. We met a while ago. I'm excited to have you meet her and learn all about her really cool business. But before I welcome her in, one of the things that is a big part of her business is community, building community, growing community, welcoming community, collaborating with community, both physical and online, or, physical in-person community and online. And I think that that's so important for business owners to remember that you never know who you're going to meet. You never know where a cool opportunity or partnership or collaboration is going to come up. And your clientele, your visitors, they become family, they become your friends, especially for the type of business that she has, which we're going to get to in a moment. But it got me thinking about community in general. What are some of the ways that we as business owners can create community no matter where we operate? If you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a brick and mortar and, you live in the boonies or whatever, you still can create community online through partnerships and collaboration with peers, with chambers of commerce, with business networking groups online, learning from online mentors and educators and stuff. And so, I'm 8 years into my business, which is crazy to think about, but still standing, still here. And something that I started early on in my business, back in, almost day one, was I knew I wanted to create a space where other business owners, other creators, other educators, and such could collaborate, could ask questions, just share ideas. I love sharing quick wins. I love teaching people. And so I wanted to create a space for that. So, if you are an overwhelmed business owner wearing all the hats, trying to do all the things, right? Running on little more than a steady supply of caffeine and chaos. If you had cheese for dinner again, listen, we listen and we don't judge, right? Help is on the way. So I want to tell you that I have a free private Facebook group called the Help Desk. And every week I share tips, I share social media content, I share my podcast episodes, I share all kinds of information there on social media content, website tweaks, email marketing, building engagement, graphic design stuff, branding, and more. And I also share freebies in there. I share all other kinds of fun stuff. And our group has over 500 members now. It's entrepreneurs, it's creatives, it's small business owners just like you. So I would love to welcome you to the Help Desk. You can find the link to that in my the show notes for this episode. So be sure to head over there and find us in the Help Desk. I would love to welcome you. If you want to type it manually into Facebook right now, it's facebook.com/groups/helpdesk Alicia Yervis, or just search for Help Desk Alicia Yervis. So that's my little community. And another community I have is when you join my social media content strategy course, there is a private Facebook community that is a component of that as well. So the doors are going to be opening for the fourth cohort of that course very soon. So if you want to get on the wait list, head to aliciayervis.com/waitlist. And I can't wait to welcome you in to that community as well. We have so much fun going through my 4-step process to a really fun social media content strategy that doesn't suck. So I want to make sure that you knew about both of those things. Okay, so my guest today is a really cool example of doing things differently in business. You know, I love to talk about that on this podcast. And we're going to talk about community building, of course, like I just went on a whole tangent about. We're going to talk about doing business with heart. We're going to talk about evolving locations. We're going to talk about collaborating with other business owners and all kinds of really fun stuff like that. So here we go. So I am really, really excited today for this episode. Ellen Bodnovich is a passionate entrepreneur driven by connection, community, and creativity. She thrives on building meaningful relationships and creating spaces where people feel seen, inspired, and supported. Whether she's launching a new venture, supporting local makers, or brainstorming the next big idea, Ellen leads with heart and intention. She finds deep joy in watching ideas come to life, from that first spark of inspiration to the growth that follows. Her work isn't just about business, it's about impact, purpose, and bringing people together in ways that feel genuine and lasting. Outside of entrepreneurship, Ellen is always learning. She's constantly exploring how to improve, evolve, and do things better, not just in business, but in life. She's a proud mom of 3 and treasures time with her family, drawing strength and perspective from the people closest to her. She's also the owner of Ocean Brew Co. here in Ocean Township, New Jersey, which is a microbrewery, a coffee house, a market, a roastery, an event space, all different kinds of things. And she's right down the street from me. So I'm really excited to have a super local person today for one of my favorite topics, coffee. And I can't wait to chat with her. So I'm very, very happy to welcome Ellen Bodnovich. Hi, my friend. It's so great to have you on the show. I was just explaining how you're super local to me. You're like 5 seconds down the street. And we had met a couple months ago through my brother. My brother's one of your big customers. He and his family are there a lot. And I know you've changed locations, and he found you at the original location, and then you moved even closer to us. So that was really cool. And I just love your shop. I love your vibe. I love everything that you're doing. And I was so excited when you said that you'd be willing to be a guest. So yay, I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I also want you to know, in your honor, I am wearing my Central Perk shirt today
Oh, I love
from
that.
Friends Coffee House.
I feel like I need one. We should have been matching.
I love a theme. If I can find a theme, a way to theme something, I'm going to do it. Okay, so I gave a little intro about Ocean Brew Co.
Mhm.
And so I want to start with the origin story of the company itself, like building the vibe. So tell me, what is Ocean Brew Co. like in your words?
It is a place for community to grab a good cup of coffee, to talk with your friends. I love seeing high schoolers come in and do schoolwork, and just a safe place and creating a whole community around good coffee, good food. And really, the base is community. I could say that word like 10 times, but that's what I just want to develop through the years to come. And the past 5 years, that has been like everything. And then we grow off of that.
Mm. Yes, and I can vouch for the workspace vibe as well. I have literally worked from there for the day. Need to do that again soon.
Yes.
Love the Wi-Fi, the music, the air conditioning, and the delicious snacks and treats, especially, and thank you for doing this, the custom different cold foam flavors. I am a cold
Yes.
foam girl.
Me too. I love cold foam.
Cold foam is where it's at. And I just love that you can customize, like, the different cold foam flavors for how you're feeling that day and what you feel like having. So I love that. Is that like a popular thing at the shop?
It is so popular. And when we started 5 years ago, it was like just starting to get popular, like cold foam on drinks. Starbucks was doing it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go around to some local coffee shops and see how it tastes and if I can do it better. And I kept
Mm,
trying it and I was watching them make it behind the counter. And I was like, wow, I think I could do this better.
mm,
So I kind of just did some like recipe and development and I found a recipe that I really liked. And it's pretty much using full fat instead of kind of cutting costs and diluting it. A lot of companies use like skim milk to cut the cost because it's very expensive.
mm.
Heavy whipping cream is very expensive. The cost of goods right now is insane. So I just realized that I'm going to charge for it and everyone's going to be okay with it because they want it, but it also costs us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it delicious and I'm not going to worry so much about the money. And
Hmm.
that's what we did. And we were able to create almost every flavor cold foam. Any flavor that we offer, we can do it in a foam. And it's been so popular.
I love that. So you are literally, you're the mad scientist, like creating recipes and testing this stuff yourself, right?
I am. And I try to like ask our employees all the time. We do fun like quizzes, things around the shop just to see like if you like this, does this taste good? Do we need to add more or less? We used to go by pumps for the sauces and everything. And now I go through like measurements like a real bar. So I go
Mm.
by ounces. We use real things that you would find at an alcoholic bar behind our bar. I felt that it was so much more accurate than using pumps. And I
Hmm.
think it just like elevated the experience so much more with our phones.
I love that. So like a true coffee bar type
Correct.
vibe was very
Yes.
cool. Love that. And so with the multi-hyphenate kind of experience that the company is right now, that the space is right now, it's like it's a coffee shop, it's a market, it's an event space, it's a roastery, it's like all of these things. Did you always know that it was going to be this kind of multifaceted kind of thing?
I had no clue.
Okay.
No clue. The dream was to open a coffee shop to create community. And I never thought in a million years we would be roasting our own coffee. And
Hmm.
then now that we're doing it and that evolved, I'm like, wow, you know what? As a business, it was the best decision because it really made our margins better. So it was a really good business decision. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, can we keep up? Like, it's a lot
Yeah.
to have a roastery coffee shop supply to others, make sure that not only we have beans, but they have beans and
Mhm.
their stock is good and our stock is good. But as a business, it was one of the best decisions we've ever made.
That's cool. Yeah, I forgot you do wholesale as well. So you
Yes.
have like, yeah, that's really cool. So when you're thinking about, like you just said, it was kind of this evolution. You didn't really know, but it was great in the end. It ended up being right for us. When you think about the phrase like organic growth, what does that mean to you? Like, how has that shown up in this journey with Ocean Brew?
This topic I get so sensitive with, and
Mm.
I don't want to cry, but
Oh.
I feel so blessed because a lot of people open coffee shops and they spend a lot of money on marketing. And we luckily have not done that much marketing. Everything
Hmm.
has been pretty much organic. I went to a lot of women's in business in the beginning. I networked. I was out late. I missed my kids' bedtimes. I worked
Oh.
every single day. I've missed family functions. And I was like, you know what? This is the time. Like, I'm young. It's my time to hustle. I have to miss things because I have to organically network. We have to create like what we're doing here. It's so important because, now you're going to go tell all your friends that we met and that what a great experience you had. And
Hmm.
something about that natural marketing is so important. You can't get that out of a magazine. You don't get that connection out of the magazine or out of social media. Sometimes if you're on live like this, it's perfect. But if you're just like writing a few words and making a post, that's really
Hmm.
hard to get behind the person and to see their hustle, their family. It's not just about the coffee, it's about me and my dreams. And now it's onto the community and how it's a bigger picture. And you get that by going to networking events and connecting with the community and giving out free coffee or giving a donation. It's just way beyond what you can do through the newspaper.
Hmm. You're speaking to my heart right now, even though I am a marketer, like
Mm-hmm.
because, and I teach social media content strategy and email marketing and all that stuff, but those are all just pieces of the puzzle. Those
Right.
are not like the, the silver bullet of everything. And those are just tools. And good old getting to know you, DMing, meeting in person, networking, all that kind of stuff. Like those are other tools. Those are other pieces of the puzzle.
For
And
sure.
I think that, I know like I myself have struggled with like, oh, do I really want to go to a networking event? It's kind of like not my thing if I'm being honest. However, what is my thing is reaching out to people that I feel like I vibe with or that I'm really appreciating what they're doing in their business or how they're showing up or something cool that they're doing and kind of establishing a line of communication and just like giving them a shout out or just like a high five like, hey, you're awesome, I think you're great, I would love to see if we could work together on something, kind of like whether that's a DM or an email or whatever. And then maybe we do grab coffee, if they're local
Mm-hmm.
to me. With my business, it's an online business. I can kind of meet people from all over. With you, it's like a local business
Right.
where people are coming to you not only for a cup of coffee, but maybe they're conducting business in your space,
Yes.
and then they're having a meeting, in your shop, and then that further expands, people who know about you in your shop. So I definitely see the value in it for sure. And I'm so excited to have, what a great example of, that organic growth that's working for you and your business, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So talking about that is kind of like an extension of what we've been saying. Um, Community, like the topic of community as an actual business value, which I've been seeing more and more, lately over the last couple years. I really think new companies for sure are embracing this right from the get-go. Existing companies, maybe perhaps they're opening their eyes to this idea, I hope. But really using community or having community as a business value and as part of the culture of your brand. So you've created something that is so much more than coffee. It really feels like a hub. It feels like extremely community driven, like we just said. So why was that aspect, I guess, important to you from the get-go, besides the organic growth piece?
You know what? So again, not to get emotional, but
If it happens, it happens.
my dad passed away a number of
Mm,
years ago. And this was before I opened Ocean Brew. But I've always had this dream. And at his funeral, he had all of his customers show up. And I was like,
mm,
wow, they all showed up at his funeral and
mm,
more than some of our family even did. And I was just shocked. And it made me realize that he built more than just a business and owned a company. And it was more than money. It was really about the connection that he built. And he owned an exterminating business. It was my grandfather's. He took it over. And he used to have a cup of coffee in the morning with his customers. They would offer him breakfast. He built this connection. He was more than just an exterminator. So when I got into this, I said, I want to be more than your go to coffee place. I want to offer
mhm,
more. And if you're sick or you're not feeling well, like, is there anything I can do? Like, just those kind
mm.
words and interaction is very important. So it all stemmed from my dad's funeral. It kind of showed me that people show up when they feel that connection.
I love that. What a nice story. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad.
Thanks.
But that is really, really pivotal realization that you had, and you
Yes.
pulled that into when you were going to start this. You're like, goals. This is what I want. I love that. That's really, really cool.
Thank you.
So yeah, no, of course. So okay, let's say there's someone who maybe they have a business already, maybe they're about to start their business, whatever it is, doesn't have to be coffee, it could be anything. But they really want to try to build community in their business, in their branding, in their communications, all that kind of stuff. They don't really know how to start. What would you say? Let's assume that they are a local business. Let's assume they have some sort of brick and mortar. What would you say to them?
So, the first thing I would probably say is to locate some things in your surroundings. So, whatever your business is, try to find some community events. If that's I don't even know what they're called, like the festivals for the kids with the
Mm-hmm.
rides. Maybe have a little
Mm-hmm.
pop up there with a table and just start interacting with your community, even like going around with some marketing flyers, not so much for the flyer, but it brings you into the business. So if I came into your business and I had a little marketing flyer, it gives me a minute to say, "Hi, I'm Ellen. I own Ocean Brew. It's so nice to meet you. I would love to have you in. I love your business." And it creates a conversation, which
Mm-hmm.
eventually leads to more people coming to you, whatever that business is. If it's a clothing boutique, whatever, it is so nice to build relationships. And no, it doesn't matter what kind of industry. Building
Mm-hmm.
relationship is key, and I'm big on grassroots marketing. And I know we said with the newspaper thing before, which that's totally fine, but grassroots marketing really gets you to move that needle a little bit further.
Mm-hmm. And I love that example of like, cool, I have this flyer, but it's not about the flyer.
Right.
It's about I'm using the flyer like as a prop kind of.
Yes, it is. It is totally a prop.
But we're gonna talk. Let me give you this flyer so you remember me, but we're gonna talk. And I'm having FaceTime with you. I'm live in person. I am introducing myself as, the owner of this establishment that just opened or is about to open, or it's been here forever and you never knew about us. And I'm reintroducing myself to the community. So I think that that's a really great example of how they can do that. And then I know that you use Instagram for the ocean I'm sorry, for the coffee house to promote what's going on and stuff like that. Would you say that there's like an Instagram way to do that as well for maybe folks who maybe they don't have a brick and mortar and they're looking for, how can they build that community through social media too?
So on Instagram, I am always commenting and responding. This response time for me is usually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
If I see something I like, I comment it on it, I share it. I want to make sure that I'm getting that out. And I think for anyone who has an online business, to make sure you're present and you're
Mm-hmm.
always commenting, sharing, and just keep that interaction going so you always have that conversation with them.
I'm so glad that you said that because I'm trying to get always, my students or my audience to understand that social media is not a soapbox, it's a dinner party and you're the host.
Yes.
Like you have to put the social in social media. Or think of it as a two-way street. Like, it's coming and going. And so it's not just post and then forget about it. It's like look for comments, look for DMs, respond to all of them. And also, if there are, like what you were just saying about, cool, there's this festival happening, I met these people, whatever, talk to those people on social too. Find those accounts, send them a message, see what they've got going on, comment on their stuff. It's not just about what is incoming to your business. It's like,
Mhm.
what can you put out there in the universe? And like I said before, give them a high five, give them a shout out, and I love this. This is so cool. What a great example. Share
Yeah.
it to stories, like remix their reels, like all these kinds of things can
All of those
really.
things really do move that needle just a little bit further. And you never know who's out there on social media or in person, like who's
Mhm,
going to help you get to the next step. You never know who you're
mhm.
going to meet. So you always be nice and lead with kindness.
That's right. Catch more flies with caffeine and cold foam. Uh,
Yes.
it's true though, and I think, we're all so busy and we're all, wearing all the hats, we're doing all these things, and it's like, oh, now I have to dedicate time to engagement as well, or I have to dedicate time to, responding to emails, like all that kind of stuff. But you're an excellent example of how, over time it really can move the needle, like you said. Maybe you're just giving yourself, okay, I'm giving myself 30 minutes a day to do this, or I'm making sure that, on every break that I take, I'm checking my DMs. Just it takes a couple seconds if you really think about it.
It
So
really
I
does.
love that you're dedicated to that. That's really cool.
And then
Um,
you learn over time how to do things better, like
sure, yeah.
how to schedule an email or a text message.
Hmm.
So when things are fresh in your mind, you write it down and you schedule that email, but then it's sent in the morning while you're sleeping. Like I just learned that recently, and it has been a game changer for me.
It's true. Yeah, that's a good point about the scheduled sends in Gmail. That's very, very helpful. Or if you have email newsletters, like yeah, scheduling those in
Yes.
advance. Another cool thing that just a sidebar here for a moment. Another cool thing in Gmail that I've been letting people know about because it was game changer for me is canned responses. Where for those of you listening, if you've never done that, basically if someone is, say they're sending, like, let's say you're a service provider, you're a designer or something like that, and someone is sending you an email inquiry and they're like, what's your pricing? What are your packages? Whatever, whatever. And you're like, oh my God, I'm like retyping this message like for the millionth time, blah, blah, blah. You can basically set up these little templates in Gmail called canned responses. And then when you're ready to respond to that person, all you do is click a button, it drops the response in, and you can customize it from there. And so it's such a good time saver. Plus, I use ChatGPT every single day for all kinds of stuff too. So when you combine those things, you are
Yes.
unstoppable.
If anyone listening is not using Chat GPT,
Ah,
everyone should be using Chat GPT. It is so helpful.
it's the best. And this is going to air after this, but tomorrow I'm doing an encore presentation of my ChatGPT workshop, which went really well a couple months ago because I'm so obsessed with it. I want everyone to know about it. So it's just great. Okay.
I love
Um,
that.
so talking about kind of an extension of community, I want to talk about collaborations and partnerships because I know you've partnered with some other businesses on something, some other like makers and stuff. I want to know uh, first, what makes a great collaboration work? Before we start getting into some of the specifics that you've done, what do you think makes a great collaboration?
For our business and myself, a great collaboration is definitely someone who understands what we're looking for, where we're going, and how we do things.
Hmm.
Because we do things differently and we're not just like chasing money. I'm chasing my dream. This is my family business. My mom works in the shop. This is so much more than just like making millions for us.
Hmm.
So I think that I always look for people that have value with family and that want the kind of the similar things that we want, not just myself, but as a company. And then we go from there. And usually it's a good fit if they fit those values. It's kind of like a marriage, we
Hmm.
have to have a good vibe, we have to get along, and we have to be wanting very similar things. If not, in the end, it's not going to work for our business or theirs. So I try to
Hmm.
pick any collaborations very carefully.
Sure. Yeah, that's a really good point because you're going to be stuck here for a little bit. So you
Yes.
want to make sure you're you want to make sure
Yes.
you're clicking and
And in the end, they're using our products, and we're using theirs and we're collaborating. So if for some reason, it's not great, then that's what it is. So really getting to the core of where they are going, what they want to do, and just having a conversation is very important for us.
Mm-hmm. And are you reaching out or they're reaching out or both?
A lot of times they reach out. Sometimes I see someone on Instagram and I'm like, wow, this is great. I would love
Mm-hmm.
this in our coffee shop. And then I send a DM. And
Hmm.
I usually personally send it from my own personal Instagram and not from Ocean Brew.
Okay.
Just to level up that connection a little bit more so they know that I personally saw it. And yes, I own this coffee shop, but it really just stuck out to me.
Interesting. I haven't thought about doing that because I have a personal as well. But that's a good point.
Yes,
Okay,
it really
I love
creates
that.
like a little bit of the next level connection.
Yeah.
Um, so if like, I'll use this, like if the owner of Pliables, if she wrote to me on her personal Instagram and said that she wanted to do something with me, I would, at that very moment, I would be like, wow, she wrote to me on my personal from her personal. It would make me
Yeah.
feel so good. So I try to think
Hmm.
how it would make me feel, and then I do it vice versa.
You're 100% right. That's a
Yeah.
great, great tip. Okay, so talking about specific partnerships, so I know of one that is very cool that I would love for you to tell us about. It's a certain local play space in the area. So please tell us about your partnership with that play space, what it's called, where it is, and how that came to be. And I know I have to interrupt. I know about it because my little toddler nephew loves it.
Yes, I know he loves it. Raising Sunshine in Shrewsbury, New Jersey is such a great place for like little kids, even toddlers. They have sensory and different classes. She offers co-working place. She has coffee, community connection. She has all of that under one roof. And she does birthday parties. She is
Mm.
not only an amazing human with the best soul, but she's my very good friend. And she'll even watch my kids for me if I have to work. And she's running a business, has her own family. She's always lending a helping hand. She is just a special human being, and her name is Erin, and she just goes above and beyond for every single person in this world, no matter who you are. She is incredibly special.
She's like sunshine.
She is sunshine. She is sunshine. And sometimes when I describe her business, I'm like, I don't even do it justice. Like, I feel like I need to relearn exactly what she does, but whatever she's doing it. And families, children are all happy, safe, and developing.
hmm And it's so cool because for those of you who don't know, like the concept of like a play space or play cafe kind of thing, it's like parents can go literally get a cup of coffee or sandwich or cookie or something while they're there, and the kids can run around and play in this environment. There's all kinds of like Ellen was saying, like sensory stations, climbing stuff, play areas, different shops and stuff. And so, what was the Ocean Brew Co. Component? Of Raising Sunshine. How did that come to, well, first describe it and how did that come to be?
So, a little backstory, when we had our first location in Spring Lake on New Bedford Road, I met Erin, and she first glance saw our backyard and was like, it's fenced in. Can I have classes here? I want to pay you. Whatever you want, I want to pay you. I want my classes here. And I was like, 100% yes. I don't even know what to charge you or what happens in that section, but yes, I want you here. And I said, just do a first class. Let's see how it goes. And she brought us that summer day 50 families. And I
Amazing.
said, you know what, Erin? I'm not going to charge you anything. Bring, bring your families, let them get a cup of coffee. We'll create community together and let's get this going. and she was doing once a week classes, then 2 days a week classes. And I never really charged her for anything. We would put out water, parents would buy coffee. And eventually, when that kind of dwindled and she was looking for her own spot, she said, you never charged me for anything. And we built such a good community together. I want to put a Ocean Brew play place in my spot. I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, I want little kids to play pretend with coffee and lattes. And I want to create a coffee house inside of the space. So she showed me this picture. I was like, wow, how much is that? And she was like, it's a lot of money, but I really want it. Would it be okay to put your sign up inside? And I said, yes. And I think that example is just beautiful because it just goes to show you that, it is about community and how it built from our little backyard into her own space. And now kids are having fun making lattes.
It is so freaking cute. Like my sister-in-law sent me a picture the first time. My nephew's name is Jack. My sister-in-law sent me the picture the first time Jack was playing. And there he is behind the little mini play counter with the little mini register, making a little mini latte. And then I see your logo above the thing, and I'm like, how cute is this? They made this little mini play coffee shop inside the larger space of this play place. I just love that story so much. Like,
I do
what a
too. It's one of
great,
my favorite collaborations I have ever done.
yeah. And like, talk about the back and forth, like kind of the collaboration that's extended through several years, several locations, several iterations.
Right.
And I love the crossover audience that you both are building too. Like that is just fantastic, because even though you're in a different location now, that brand recognition. Folks are seeing the logo like, oh, Ocean Brew. Oh, that's that coffee house over there. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Like I just love it. And I think for those listening, think of how you can do something like that. Not that it has to be exactly what we just said, but
Right.
what are some creative ways that you can, well, first of all, start to get to know other business owners in the area, start to forge these friendships, these relationships, making sure, like Ellen said, that you actually vibe and click with these people because you're going to be, working together on some stuff. But then what are some creative ways that you can show up for each other and kind of lean on each other and incorporate each other's businesses in, in each other's businesses. So I just love that. I want to know, are there any like dream collabs on your list right now that you'd be willing to share or not yet?
Not yet, but I would love to collab with an other coffee shop, which
Hmm.
has been in the talks, but I don't want to name that coffee shop just yet.
Okay.
But I would love to collab with this other coffee shop because our vibes are very, very similar. And I feel like we're rooted from very similar places. And our coffee beans are very similar for the taste. So it wouldn't be a drastic change for our customers. And it would
Hmm.
just show more than the bigger picture that two coffee shops, like we can collaborate. There is not that much competition, even though there is, and we can do something together. So I think it just shows more than what it really is.
I love this. I'm obsessed with this so much because one of my favorite phrases is community over competition. Like
Yes,
I believe a rising tide lifts all boats. Like there's enough work for everyone. There's enough for everybody. There's room for everyone, I guess is the point. And I have personally witnessed like a resistance to that. Like you're saying, like oh, we're supposed to be rivals, we're supposed to be, competition. Like I get that, I get it, but like we were saying earlier, like you never know where these opportunities or partnerships or introductions are going to happen, and can't you just be a decent human being and let's see?
right.
you know like why do we want to jump to the assumption of we're enemies. We're on opposite sides. Like, how can we work together? And so to that point, how could two coffee shops work together? You don't have to name the coffee shop, but like, what are you
Right.
envisioning for something like that?
I think definitely collaborating on a drink or a menu item for food definitely
Mm-hmm.
could be good. It's hard when two different coffee shops roast their own beans, but if a coffee shop did not roast their own beans, or then maybe we can collaborate on the bean itself as well. And we can
Mm-hmm.
kind of not just on the drink, but it could be on the bean. But most of the time, every coffee shop's doing their own thing and you don't want to overstep, especially in collaborating. So, usually, probably like a drink or a menu item would be the very best approach for the situation.
Yeah, that sounds totally reasonable and doable, especially if you're like two local brands, like doing something that resonates with the local community, some sort of way to connect them to where we are, or something like that. I love that idea. That's really cool. So I'm excited to stay tuned on that,
Yeah,
to
stay
keep you posted.
tuned.
Um, okay, so we taught you hinted at a little bit before that you were originally at a different location in Spring Lake, New Jersey. And so I know that you've been through some space transitions. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about that process and what you learned going through that as you moved to the new space in Ocean Township. How did that come about?
I knew way before anyone else knew that I was not going to re sign my 5-year lease on New Bedford Road. And I think it just took me a while to come to terms with it because I didn't want to lose our customers. I loved Spring Lake, Wall Township. I loved the little home that we were in and everything that we built. I wish that winters were a little busier, but
Hmm.
I really wanted more seating. And it wasn't really about not doing well because we were doing well. It was more about wanting more seating, wanting to be closer to home, wanting to be my hometown of Ocean Township. I grew up here. My kids go to school here. I live here. It's just, I wanted to be so rooted to our town and create community here, which I think we were lacking with the coffee shop industry. There's not much in Ocean Township. So I knew that there was room for it. And I just made a post one day on social media and I said something about, taking over our coffee shop. And boom, 2 minutes later, I had someone reach out. And I've known her a long time. And she told me that her and her family were very interested in opening a coffee shop and taking over our location. And they wanted to chat. And it moved very fast. A week later, we kind of were under contract for it. They took over my lease, they re signed a new lease. I sold them our little trailer that we had, which was a mobile coffee trailer, along with all of our equipment and everything in the shop. And then we kind of exited and they went in. And it was an
Wow.
easy, smooth transition. And I couldn't be happier with it. They're doing an awesome job right now. They're buying our coffee. They're one of our wholesale customers. Our customers are currently happy because they're still getting Ocean Brew. They're still getting that
Hmm.
family vibe. And I do miss them, but it's nice. I still see them in Ocean Township. They do make the trip.
That is so cool. So I was just going to ask, did how did it work in terms of building a new client base in Ocean Township, or did some of the Spring Lake folks come up? Was it kind of a mix of both things?
It was a mix of both things.
Okay.
It hasn't really been that difficult. I think Ocean Township, being that I live here, I think there's such a need for it here. There's the Starbucks and there's Dunkin', and there is a Rook, which, Rook doesn't have espresso. So their cold brew is great, but they don't have the espresso. So I think that anyone wants Rook, they're going to go to Rook, and Rook is wonderful. But if they want espresso, they're going to come to us. Or if they want to try our cold brew and what we offer, then
Hmm.
they are going to come to us, especially to sit down. So this area just really felt we needed it. So
Hmm.
not I haven't done a lot of marketing. Everything has been organic so far. I just hired someone to do our social media. So maybe
Okay.
that will help a little bit. We're still growing and evolving, but so far so good.
That's great. So it sounds like the everything happened really fast. Like you said, this person was like, I'm ready to move in right now. It was someone you knew already. So there was like a kind of a built-in kind of trust and just knowledge piece and familiarity piece, which is really cool. And it sounds like when you packed up and moved up to essentially your home base already, because you already live there, you grew up there, you know everything about Ocean Township. Um, it sounds like it was not super emotional, or it was just kind of like it felt natural. It felt like everything was working out the way it was supposed to work out.
I totally agree. That's exactly how it felt. Like I
Hmm.
wasn't that emotional. I think my mom was more emotional than
Hmm.
me. She also was worried that I was going to be sad. Is it the right decision? Do I want to leave? But in the end, I knew way prior than anyone else. I knew in my mind, and usually when I know in my mind, I know what's going to happen. I prep myself, and I'm okay.
Hmm.
I think from a business standpoint, we're meant to evolve and change and close doors and open new doors. And I think business is always on my mind front. And then I think about, okay, well, I'm going to be a little sad because I'm leaving all these things. But if they want to see us, they'll come to Ocean. We're 15 minutes away. And
Hmm.
I'll be at the Creative Cup, which is the new coffee shop, and I'll be working from there. And almost everyone has my number and social media. We'll stay connected. But from a business standpoint, closing doors, evolving, very important for growth.
Hmm. And I love too that you found a way to still serve your past customers by having your product in the new shop. That's a
Yes.
really cool, like reciprocal kind of thing.
And
And
that was actually really important to them too.
mm,
Denny, who took it over, she's awesome. And she even said, she said, I want to make sure that they're even getting some of your drinks that you created. Is it okay? Can we use it? I want to serve your coffee. I want to give them what they want. So it was
mhm.
really important to her. And that's what I mean about sharing values. Like we share so many of the same values that it was such a natural process.
Mm-hmm. And I have to like commend you too on like your ability to, or your openness and your ability to say yes to a request like that, and to be like, yes, cool, go for it. Like, I'm happy to have you do that. I think like we were saying before about like the rivalry thing, the competition thing, like there may be some people who own, a diner or a salon or whatever, and who may feel like, oh, I have to keep all my cards close to my chest. I have to protect all of my, the stuff that I've created. And I understand that. But I love your approach to, hey, like, why not? Like, the more the merrier kind of thing. As long as you're vibing and clicking with that person and the integrity is there, I think that it could lead to really cool things. So I love that that's your approach.
Thank you.
Um, and I want to know too, I meant to ask this earlier in the episode, but I just saw my notes and I said, oh, shoot, I forgot to ask. What is your order right now? What's your go-to summer order at your shop?
So, New Jersey Food Cravings, she created this drink. And right
Ooh.
now, it is a hit. Everyone wants it. It's an iced caramel latte with a coconut cold foam and a caramel
Mm.
drizzle on top. It is so good. And now she posted it, I posted it, we collabed on it, and now it's the go-to, definitely.
That's the go-to.
Yes.
Oh my God, I have not tried coconut cold foam yet. I'm really excited because I love coconut. I'm coconut everything all the time. I drink cold brew year
Well, you
round.
have to definitely try that. It
I
is
am definitely gonna.
award winning. Five, I guess this would be our sixth summer. 6 summers, coconut for the win.
Wow. Okay. On my list for this week. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Um, okay, so now talking about like kind of real life, behind the scenes entrepreneurship, what's something that people don't see? behind the scenes of your day to day. You're a founder, you're a roaster, you're a biz owner, you're a mom of three. You have a family, you have a shop, and you're a creative human. Like what's something that maybe people don't see behind as you're juggling all of that? What's really going on back there?
Do you really want
Yes, I do.
to know? I definitely struggle with my own things like time management. Am I being a good mom? Am I
Mhm.
showing up for my kids? Are they getting enough time with me? Do I need to take them on more vacations? We haven't been to Disney, but all their friends are going to Disney. But, when you have two parents that work full time, I'm always like, are they getting enough time with us? And
Mhm.
time is my favorite word. I have it tattooed on my arm,
Oh, look at that.
and
Hmm.
I really value time. So I do try to
Mm.
like really structure my day, and so I can create more time. So when you do see me at the pool or at the beach, it's because I worked so many hours that week, and on my day off, I probably still worked, but I structured my time a little bit so I can get it in.
Hmm. Hey, I believe that we all need rest. We don't have to earn it. We just need it. It's like we need air, we need food, we need shelter. Like, so I'm all about, finding time to do that for sure. When you talk about structuring your day, um, can you talk us through that process a little bit? I think some folks struggle with figuring out how to do that. Like what's a what's a way to start that kind of self-structuring process, whether you're a parent or not, like what does that look like?
I think it's different for everyone and everyone's families. I work a lot. I kind of took myself away from the day to day operations of the coffee shop. So I'm no longer the main barista. I, I'm starting to focus working on our business and not so much in it. And I think
Amen.
that was definitely 100% what I needed to do, because now I
Hmm.
see everything so much differently than just making a cappuccino every day and talking to customers. So I'm so focused on growing the business and systems and procedures and like kind of the operation side, then making the coffee. And I think
Hmm.
that stepping away and hiring people was one of my biggest things to creating
Hmm.
also more time for myself. So once I did that, now it kind of just flows. And I restructured my time with using my calendar. I write
Hmm.
things down in a notebook for my
Love it.
for my own memory. I highlight things. I set reminders on my phone, and I really don't like to answer emails, texts, or calls once I'm in bed at night.
Love it. Everyone listen to what she just said.
I feel like
Like,
people can wait, and
yep.
I think it's okay.
Hmm. It's 100% okay. Literally, like it took me a long time to get to there and to learn that lesson because before I opened my own business, I'm still dealing with like, traumas from working in traditional work culture, even though I had a great career and, all of that was great and wonderful, but there's stuff at every job. And
Yeah,
so when you're in that groove for, 15, 20 years and then you are like running the ship, you're like, oh my God, like this is awesome. Like there's no one else. But then you're also like, oh my God, there's no one else. Like shit.
right.
Um, and you realize like, no, tomorrow's a new day. That thing can wait. Like the world is not on fire, and I need my rest and I will pick it up in the morning. So I don't know if you have an iPhone, but I have an iPhone and I use the
Yes,
do
I
not
do.
disturb thing and and I just, it is what it
Right.
is.
I'm just thinking about like what's important and what's not so important. Let's do the important things first. We'll make our way to the non-important stuff. I think just
Hmm.
really structuring it like that really does help.
Hmm. I so agree.
Yeah.
Um, okay, cool. So this has been so much fun, chatting about your business and about you as a mom and a business owner, and super local to me, which is just so much fun for me, because I talk to people from all over the place, but you're like 5 seconds down the street.
I know. I
And I
love
can't
that.
wait. I can't wait to try that new drink. I am totally going to go do a
Yes.
work session and try that. Um, so as we wrap up here, just a random question that has nothing to do necessarily with business, or it could if you want, but what's literally, what's one thing you're obsessed with right now? Anything.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Something
Um,
that lights you up that you're just like, I'm obsessed with this right now.
well, I could tell you I'm an outdoors person and I
Okay.
am totally obsessed with the warm weather and how I
Mm.
don't have to be stuck inside in the cold. So I'm obsessed with my deck right now that I could sit
Ooh.
outside and have a drink and maybe some
Hmm.
cheese and crackers and enjoy the warm weather.
Love it. So you
Yeah,
are absolutely a summer girly.
totally, 100%. And
Okay.
the day I retire, you'll find me on a beach with a drink in my hand, not doing anything.
That's awesome. So I enjoy the summer, but I don't enjoy the heat. So like I need the air conditioning, but I love being in the pool. And my friend has a pool. Janine, if you're listening to this, your pool needs to open because I need to be in it. That's the way
Yes.
that I can tolerate being outside because I could be in the pool. I could be in the pool for like 12 hours. Like I could just stay out there. So I feel you on that. And yeah, like of course, a nice beautiful deck and hang out, have a little charcuterie girl
Yes.
dinner
I am
and
not home a lot. I could tell you that I am like never home, or if I'm home, it's not for like a long period of time. I'm always running in and out, but
hmm
I love being home. So the days that I'm home, I don't need
hmm
to go shopping or do anything really for me. Like this is for me. I love my house. I love my neighborhood. I love where we live and seeing my kids playing outside. And just like
hmm
sitting on my deck is everything that I need or want.
It's the simple
It
things.
is really so simple, but it's all I need.
Love it. Love it. So, what's coming up next for Ocean Brew Co? Or what are you excited about for the summer? What's going on at the shop?
So I'm looking to have more pop-ups at the shop. I want to do some more nights, maybe espresso martini night. I'm trying to create. I would love to continue opening another location. We closed one door
Mm.
in Spring Lake and Ocean opened, but I think in order for that to happen, it needs to be perfect. And I have seen a few over the past few months, and it just wasn't feeling like it was the perfect area or the community vibe. So I'm still on the hunt, but as soon as I find it, I will move on that pretty fast.
So it's like Cinderella's glass slipper.
Yes. I don't yes, exactly. I don't rush anything. Things kind of like always just come to me. I work really hard. I know our direction, and if I see it, then I normally move pretty fast.
hmm
It's kind of how I work.
I love that because I'm a similar way where it's about vibes with me. It's about alignment, like trusting your gut. Does this feel right? Like something feels a little wonky. I don't know. Like let me wait. And then the universe kind of points you in the direction you're supposed to go.
It does.
So that's exciting. I'm
Yes.
I'm
And
happy to hear that.
it's actually kind of cool because you learn so much from business and being in business for a while. So, like, our first location, I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. I kind of just
Mm,
showed up and there I was. And now
hmm
you learn and you evolve. And now, looking for a location, I have a list of things that we need as a company in order for it to work because I don't with the whole competition thing, I don't really worry about that too much. I'm always like, it's the last man standing, and I want to be the last man standing. But,
Uh-huh.
I want to make sure that it fulfills the list so it fits kind of our family, our vibe, and I never want to change who we are as a company.
So, two things I want to say.
Yes.
First, and I'm going to go into this in a moment. I forgot to talk about events at your space, so I want to talk about that in a
Yes.
second before we go. But I love what you just said about kind of you made this list of does it check all the boxes of what feels right for our company and is it ideal for us? Because that's something that Like I said, I don't have a brick and mortar. I have an online business, but I have a list like that in terms of, do I want to work with this person? Like, do I want to take on this project, or, work with this client? And it's creating kind of your values and your non-negotiables of who is your ideal client. Do they check all these boxes? What are the values that are important to you? Like what you were saying earlier about partnership. Do they understand my business? Do they understand, what's important to me and what we're doing here? And quite frankly, one of my check boxes on that list is kindness. I want to see if
I
this
love
person is
that
kind.
so much.
It took me a while to realize that was something that I needed to make a non-negotiable. That's why before I work with anybody, like we're getting on Zoom, I want to make sure I'm good with your personality, because it doesn't always come through
Right.
email or even on the phone. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that, because that
Yeah.
is kind of another way that you could, do something like that, by literally putting pen to paper, writing down the things that are must-haves or must-dos for your business or for your clientele. So I love that. So backtracking a second, tell
Yep.
me about events, and that the shop is an event space as well. How does that all work?
So we've always done events and they've always been a big hit. If it was like a networking event or just a flower event, we've done like chocolate events, make your own chocolates. And a lot has been collaborations with other business, renting our space or just kind of
Mm-hmm.
a collab. But now that we have more seating at our Ocean Brew Market in Ocean Township, we want to create more people, more events during the week or weekends. And we would open up the coffee bar, or we could do, espresso martinis, anything that you really want. We can customize it and make it to what you are looking for. So every event is different, it's not the same. Every business is different. So it really starts with a first conversation, and then we kind of develop off of that.
Mm-hmm. I love this. So it's certainly a multifaceted company, but it's also a multifunctional space. And because you have the asset of the space itself, you are able to, as the creative head of the company, like, you can figure out ways to meet people where they're at different, with
Yes,
different needs. So whether they need uh, an event space, they need catering, they need wholesale, they just need a good cup of coffee, they need a place to work for the day, whatever it is, you can meet them at all these different ways. So
for
I think
sure.
that's
And
awesome.
sometimes I do get messages, and customers are like, "How much for your event space?" And I said, like, we need to have a conversation. We have to talk about it. Every event is different. It's not one fee fits all. So, maybe you just want to have a little networking event, or maybe there's just something that you want to do that's different. So I try to accommodate no matter what business you are, what you're looking for. Sometimes you want to collaborate with some other, like you want to bring in pizza or subs. We have a nice list of places that we use. So, it's not one size fits all kind of thing.
Yeah. I love that, because we're all
Yeah.
different, and yeah, everybody has different needs and tastes, and I just love that you're so flexible like that.
Thank you.
Um, so where can folks find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they visit? I'm going to put all the links in the show notes for this episode for your Instagram and Ocean Brew's Instagram, but tell us where they can find you and come hang out.
Yeah, so we're located right off of West Park Avenue in Cobblestone Village. It's Ocean Brew Market. We are close to the OC Boutique and What About a Bagel. And our Instagram is Ocean Brew Co. And I'm also on Instagram. It's Ellen Sharing Life. And I love sharing just views, food, outside, my deck vibes, and my kids.
Awesome. Well, Ellen, thank you so much for sharing with us today. This has been so much fun. It's been great getting to know you more too,
Yes,
aside from our
great getting to know
initial
you.
little chat. Yeah. I am definitely coming in for that drink. That
Yes,
sounds
definitely do that.
delicious. Well, that's where you'll find me soon. Thank you so much again. This was fantastic, and I hope you have an awesome summer. And I can't wait to see everything that's coming up, and I'm going to stay tuned for it all.
Thank
Congrats on your
you.
on your success.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon.